Let's bring in Scott Bauer, the CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. Scott's joining us for a look at a few he has his eye on. Scott, welcome. We were just talking Macy's, how they beat expectations, and, well, the lift that ticker symbol M saw. Investors appear to like the fit and the feel of this one. Let's talk about a couple other retail names that are higher today as well. Let's talk about JWN. I saw Under Armour. I saw Shoe Carnival has been on a tear, and Ralph Lauren as well, also benefiting from these better than expected numbers.
Yeah, there's a lot of room to make up for many of these stocks, and you know, I think you're getting a little bit of a sympathy move, if you will, in some of these based off of what we saw in Macy's. Let's start with JWN. JWN, I don't like it at all. The only reason that I would ever want to look for some upside, quite frankly, in JWN is for a potential takeout sometime down the road, and to me, it's just not worth it. Stock is really flatlined, and you know, I don't know. To me, Ben, you look at what they do, and they have the off price, they have the discount retailer in Nordstrom Rack, and yet this stock just can't get with it. So I think it's a sale on any pop up, other than, you know, if somebody wanted to hold maybe some upside calls or just hold it for the future going out to, you know, maybe a buyout.
So you've got names like Shoe Carnival. You've got, you know, some of these names I'm starting to wonder as we see some of those unemployment benefits, the added weekly benefits that we were hearing about that are being lost right now. I mean, these retail names are definitely got to be a little bit concerned about that. We heard from, I think it was Target or Walmart, one of those big names said they're already starting to see that impact some of their numbers.
There's no doubt about it. And you know, before we know it, we're getting into the holiday season.
Big time.
Right? So if the economics don't change, and consumer confidence, you know, kind of just meanders around, and there's not more stimulus, and things don't change, man, oh man, is that going to impact some of these retailers? So like you said, Target, you know, mentioned it. Out of the stocks just that you mentioned earlier, PVH, I don't like it. It's up at the 200-day moving average resistance. I don't see upside. Under Armour is one I could get behind a little bit because it's really been, you know, just kind of holding down at its bottom. I also like Ralph Lauren. I really do. Even, you know, unless the economy just completely shuts down again, which we hope, you know, obviously doesn't happen. I like Ralph Lauren on any sort of dip here under 70, Ben.
What about SCVL, Shoe Carnival? It's been one of the stocks that's been on my radar. It's been on a tear, Scott. Up and through, well, did it get above 38 today? It didn't. Missed it by a penny, but back to levels that they haven't seen since February. This stock's been on the move, to say the least, this week.
It scares me a little bit. Yeah, it's been on a tear. It's you know, had a lot of momentum behind it, but it really scares me. And I don't like seeing the big jagged moves, you know, that we see, and you can see on the chart right there that's kind of what we're seeing there. And it met that resistance, you know, from a technical standpoint, almost to the penny, like you said. Couldn't get through. I'd be cautious. Yeah,
it's got some proving itself to do here up above that $40 level. Let's move on here because surprisingly I saw, and it looks like you did as well, some of those cruise stocks, cruise liners are on the move higher today. CCL, RCL, a Norwegian cruise line. This comes on news that Carnival Cruise Line is going to resume some of its trips. I heard out of Italy, out of Germany, and some of those ports there into the beginning of the fall. Obviously, there's going to be some restrictions associated with it, but talk to us about what the latest is and how investors are responding to the news.
Well, investors love it because if you look across the board, and not as much in RCL as what we're seeing in Carnival and NCLH, tons of call buying, absolute tons of call buying, 3 to 4 to 1, you know, call versus put buying here. So there's a lot of optimism there. But what I'm seeing is it's a lot of short-term call buying. So it might just be some real short-term speculation here. Of the three of those, RCL, I would fade this one purely on a technical basis. There's major resistance at 74, just above where it's trading right now. That one doesn't have the amount of call buying as the others do today. Carnival, nice breakout, really coming off a flat line technically, and NCLH is almost a mirror image, you know, almost a replication of CCL. Those two, you know, I could possibly get behind and see some upside. RCL, I'd be fading this one.
Scott, final thoughts here. Obviously, I think it would be amiss to let you go without asking about the jobs data tomorrow. We took a look at what we're looking for at the top of the show. We've seen Treasuries on the move. Ahead of this, I wonder if we're starting to get a little bit of uncertainty, a little bit of maybe risk-off type sentiment as we head into this number. This is going to be closely watched. And then in addition to that, there's the wage data. What are you going to be watching more closely?
Yeah, the absolute number to see what happened July to August is going to be just so important, and how the benefits that ended on July 31st, how that's impacting the market here. Today's number was a real good one on surface that we got, but however, you talked about it. When you dive into it, the adjustments were not really so good. I've been very cautious. You know that, Ben. We've had this conversation multiple times. I've been very cautious on these jobs numbers here, and I think you're finally seeing now people take note and say, oh, wow, we've got this August number tomorrow. And maybe that's why we've seen the VIX rising over the last week, even as the market rose, also people buying protection into this print for tomorrow.
Yeah, we've got almost 30 million people unemployed, over 29 million, 1 in 5 receiving benefits. We can see the NASDAQ reflection of that now. Finally, it seems like worst day that they've seen since spring, since March declines. Scott, really appreciate you joining us. We covered a lot of material there. A great breakdown in terms of a few names you've got your eye on and that we should, and what you're looking at in terms of the job support. Trader Scott Bauer is the CEO of Prosper Trading Academy.